Quick disclaimer, this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here should be considered financial advice. Always do your own research and understand the risks before investing.
Welcome back everyone to another Bitcoin update. So we have seen a short-term bounce. Not really surprising to see. Like we were talking about, we were expecting after either a little bit more continued downside before getting a bounce, or whether we were just going to get a bounce right away, which just kind of seems like what has happened. There's a few different ways that this bounce could play out. If we're assuming that we are indeed in this fifth wave, B wave to the downside, well then we can expect a more of a corrective bounce. So whether it's just an A, B, C, and that's all the fourth wave, or whether we will be going for a larger extended A, B, C in a three wave, in which we could get one more downside movement. Our resistance zone is between, it was in the last video, it is between the, I want to say, yeah, 67 to that 70,000 range. So this technically could extend all the way up to 70,000 before getting a rejection, as long as we don't break above this 71,932. Well, it remains very valid that all of this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move to the downside. Obviously, if we do get higher and higher towards this range up here, it would start to look like a little bit of a extended counter trend move, but it remains valid as long as we can stay below this swing low. Now, if we get a 5 wave move and a break above that trend line and a 3 wave move down, well, then things start to get a little bit more interesting. But right now, all I can really see is just a corrective bounce. It's the weekend, volume's low, so I wouldn't really expect anything too crazy. But overall, the idea that we are in right now, or our main case, has really just been the same since literally the start of February, since we started tracking this A wave up, and then a very complicated maybe triangle structure for a B wave, and then we could be very well in the start of this C wave for all of a wave, and then a possible B wave down, and then a final C wave up. Now, it's totally possible too that all of this could have been a larger degree A wave. So all this could have been a B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move up, all in an A wave. Now we could just be going for a larger degree B wave, and then we just get that C wave up, and then that's all of that larger degree A, B, C in that B wave bounce, in which we could get a 1, 2 setup to the downside, a 3 and a 4 and a 5 for a larger correction. Now that is totally possible as well. Now I am just keeping this as a base case, and once we do, or if we do get this high up here, we will add a support zone. If we break below support and some swing lows, well, it becomes likely that all of that could have been the B wave, and now we're heading down lower, but way too early to tell. Just speculation at the moment, just so you know. And our other scenario is a more direct sell-off in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move down for another low before we can start that corrective A, B, C pattern, in which would be, for example, this orange wave or this orange scenario that we're tracking, but just with one more low. So instead of the low being here at 60,000, we would go for one more low and then possibly redo that pattern again, A, B, C. Now, this pump that we're currently looking at, I mean, it really is, it just looks like a corrective bounce. It doesn't look like anything serious. With liquidity too, I mean, it does make sense to at least target this area up here between that 68 to 69,000 range, maybe even 70,000 before getting a rejection and heading lower if that scenario is playing out. Obviously, once we break above this swing high, well, and if we get a 5 wave move and a 3 wave down, and a break above this trend line, well, then things can get a little bit more interesting. It's really too early to tell what that would be, but I mean, I guess technically this is only a 3 wave move down, not a full 5 wave move down. So I guess that wouldn't be super surprising to see that, because it does remain valid, but it's just unlikely. I mean, it's such a weak bounce. So I mean, it doesn't really, it's only a 3 wave move, so I can't really say that this bounce here, I mean, for example, if we were to start working towards up here in a 5 wave move, I mean, at the moment it just doesn't look like it's anything serious. It just looks like a 3 wave move, in which could turn into a B, C to the upside. But like I said, all of this could be the 4th wave right here, and we could get rejected next week, and we can go lower for that 5th wave. Now this 5th wave, we can look for that zone between that 60 to that 64, 65,000 range, or at least a break below this swing low here at 62,700 more or less, in which we could possibly bottom between that 60 to 62,000. So all this could be an A wave and then a complicated triangle B wave, and then we could start that C wave up. And in this blue scenario that I have for a more direct sell-off would be one, we need to see a corrective move. So when we enter this zone down here between that 60 to 63,000 range, how are we going to react to support? Are we going to have are we going to come down here and is it just going to be a corrective three-wave move and then we get a rejection? Well, then that becomes a little bit more likely that we are indeed in that blue, more direct sell-off. Or are we going to come down to the support zone? Are we going to have a micro 5-wave move up and a 3-wave move down and have a more of an impulse? So we come down to test support and it's an impulse up. It's not just a weak bounce like something it would be over here. What we would want to see is more of an impulsive movement. So we could have something like this where we come down here, test support, and we impulse up, and then we can keep working higher. So that's kind of what we're gonna have to look for, to wait and see. And at the moment, I mean, it's little too early to tell, but at the moment we are leaning for just a extended B wave in which we could definitely work higher. And it also depends what's going on in the Middle East too. Headlines definitely can affect different wave movements as well. So for example, if more bad news starts to come out and we start to see a more direct sell-off, well, then that's just from a headline. That's just a third wave. And we just kind of have to wait to see how price will react to that larger support zone below us, if we obviously still are going to test it. So that's pretty much it for this scenarios and the price analysis. Obviously, three-wave move so far. I mean, like I said, if we do break above it with a 5-wave move and a 3-wave move down, things start to get a little bit more interesting, but so far it just looks like a corrective bounce. And at any moment, maybe we can form a larger 3-wave move before getting rejected, but any moment, it wouldn't be super surprising if we were to get a rejection at any moment and then head lower. And yeah, once we head lower, we will just have to track how price reacts to it. We'll give our supports, our resistance. We'll give swing lows and swing highs and what we want to see price do to indicate whether we are just in that 4th wave bounce or whether we're getting one more low in that 5th wave, or whether this is indeed all of the B wave and we are going higher. So that's it for the Elliott wave or price analysis part. I want to go over to some of this. I wanted to go over oil because I have been having some post. I've been talking about it too, just so I can kind of give my thoughts for everything right now. I actually posted this morning showing that the RSI is starting to hit very overbought on the 1 hour, and I believe on the 3 hour too, it's also hitting overbought. And once we kind of see oil start to hit these overbought conditions, yeah, it can definitely go higher. This was pre-war news, or this was the beginning of the war. So obviously when the war first breaks out, I mean, obviously we're going to see a very impulsive price action. I would stay away from this. I mean, it's super volatile. Obviously the war, no one really knows what's going to happen with that. But every time we usually hit overbought, I mean, it's not surprising to see some sort of correction, whether it's a very sharp one or just a drawn out, just very slow to the downside, like something we had back here. But it's not surprising to see at least some sort of correction afterwards. So I myself am added into a short for oil. My perspective of what could possibly happen here is we can either see some sort of decline here, in which I do think overall, once we do break above this $102 range of this swing high over here, I mean, it wouldn't be super surprising to see it tests these highs up here at that 118, 120 range. I've seen posts of people saying, oh, $150, $200 is coming for oil. But I mean, obviously, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, that's totally impossible. I'm just saying at the moment, you're looking at a 50 to 100% increase in price with news that isn't a surprise, like it was back here where the strait was closed, people started getting bullish on oil, and that sent the price up. I mean, we've now been in this war for almost a month, and to say some, I mean, unless there is like another strait that is closed that the Houthis control, or whether there is maybe like an escalation of war. I mean, the war can even escalate. But I mean, oil, it's such a hard thing because I don't want to say that it can't reach those numbers. I mean, I just think it's very unlikely, especially when we are starting to hit overbought. So what that could mean for Bitcoin is that aligns pretty well with that B wave scenario. So that's kind of why I wanted to bring it up. Also, you can see too, volume for each rally for oil is starting to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So that's also something to look out for as well. I mean, on the 1 hour chart, we're pretty much hitting 80s. Last time we hit overbought the one, two, three times. Last time we hit overbought three different times. We saw a correction right afterwards as well. Now, what wouldn't surprise me to happen is it honestly wouldn't surprise me if we do test some of these highs up here, or maybe just a larger zone over here before we can get a correction of some sort. That wouldn't be super surprising. And it another thing that wouldn't surprise me is if we were to get a high, a correction, and then get a higher high, but form a bearish divergence on the RSI. That also wouldn't surprise me at all. Now, there is an ongoing conflict. This is dangerous zone, volatile. Don't take this with a grain of salt. I just wanted to show this because I've been talking about it on Twitter just to kind of give some of my thoughts for why you've been seeing some of those posts. And also, it aligns very well with what I think will happen to oil. It aligns very well with that B wave scenario for Bitcoin. And for those that don't know, basically what's happened is every time oil has gone up, Bitcoin usually drops. Every time oil goes down, Bitcoin usually has a rally. So it makes perfect sense for this B wave. Maybe we go a little bit higher, Bitcoin gets one more low, and then we see that sharp decline, and then we see Bitcoin bottom on that B wave if it were to play out and we sort of get a rally. So that's kind of where my thoughts are. I mean, obviously it's not guaranteed. Oil very well could go straight to 150 to $200, even though in my opinion, not financial advice, it's very unlikely. When you see headlines like that, just know things are just, I mean, a 50 to 100% increase with decreasing volume, especially when we're already in the overbought situation. And I mean, the news isn't really getting any worse than what's already going on with the Iran war. I mean, they're already talking about ground forces. They're already talking about the straits being closed. I mean, that the news can only get so bad before things start to get better. That's kind of where I'm coming from with this. So I have a oil short position open. I will look to add more if we do start to go higher, because I do start to see that, but not financial advice, not guaranteed. Only I'm only doing what I'm willing to lose. So if I lose, well, it's only what I'm willing to lose. So if we do go to that 150, $200, well, I'm only losing what I'm willing to lose. So you should so just take it with a grain of salt, not guaranteed, not financial advice. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on that just because I've been posting about it, and it lines pretty well with that B wave for Bitcoin that we were talking about. So that's enough of that. Let's go over to the liquidity for Bitcoin. If we go over to the 30-day, heavy shorts, all the way up to 77,000. We got 10 billion in shorts compared to 4 billion in longs. I do see that one more low. I really wouldn't be surprised. And it wouldn't really shock me. It kind of seems like we could go for one more low, just the way the bounce has happened so far. Obviously, take all this with a grain of salt. I'm just kind of putting my process together for some of my trades that I have been doing, just to explain it to you. But you guys are more than welcome to have your own opinion and be able to make things off of that. All I can really say, the only thing I can really give you, and obviously nothing's ever guaranteed, the only thing I can give you is resistance and support, swing highs, swing lows, and I can only give you roadmaps of what could possibly happen. None of it is ever guaranteed. That is the only thing I'm able to give you. I can't tell you the price is now going to go down. I can't tell you, oh, now the price is going to go up. That's download again. Sorry. That's just not what I'm here to do, unfortunately. So, I mean, I know people like to have people that just tell them what to do, but at the end of the day, no one knows where the market's going to go. All you can do is give analysis, give a roadmap, give a reasoning, and that is usually the best that we can do. So on the third, yeah, so I mean, obviously, it wouldn't surprise me to see one more dip. I myself was also looking for a short position on that bounce, but just because I'm in the oil trade, I want to preserve capital, just because preserving capital is always the best thing possible, because that's good. That's why you should preserve capital. But it's your money. You guys do what you want with yours. It's just my trading plan. What's my plan shouldn't be yours, obviously. Now, if we go over to the 1 week, yeah, we have that zone below us. Goes down to about 63,000. Maybe we go a little bit lower below 63,000 for an extended B wave. And technically, we could go to like 64,000 and be above that last B wave, because all of that could just be a larger 3-wave move. So that also remains valid for that as well. But yeah, we're starting to build up towards the upside of liquidity. So that's why I'm leaning a little bit more towards just a extended B wave or just a 3-wave correction, and we could start heading higher. But so far, we've only seen a 3-wave move. So take it with a grain of salt. Here we go. Lower zone below us as well, and then just the shorts above starting to pile in. But here's something really interesting that I think should definitely be considered. If we go over to the 1-month chart, you can see we have a higher liquidity below us in the 50s, which that also aligns very well with that more of a larger sell-off in that blue scenario in which we're talking about. But obviously we do have the shorts above us, but I mean it aligns pretty well with a larger support zone down there with swing lows and swing highs up past price action between 53 to that 57,000 range, which is kind of very similar to what we were talking about. So that is also another thing to watch out for, because both scenarios remain valid. At the moment, I see a little bit more weight on the orange scenario, but at any point it could change. We very well could just drop straight there, or we very well could just pump straight up. But we have to wait for price. It's a weekend, volume's low. We kind of just have to wait and see what will happen. So yeah, that's pretty much everything for this video. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you guys can see some of my ideas of what I think could possibly be happening, but obviously none of it's ever guaranteed. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.